So I'm sure you've seen this before where you have bass drummers who don't have the thumb on the stick, or what about match grip, and same thing, the thumb is not on the stick, right? So to help your bass drummers out, or let's say you're doing this, right? Let's say you're a match grip drummer or a bass drummer and you are having trouble reminding yourself to keep that thumb on the stick. Here's the best solution I came up with. Use a coin, okay? So in this case, I'm gonna use this quarter, right? And what you're gonna do is you're gonna pin this quarter in between the thumb and the stick. So obviously you gotta keep that thumb on the stick or else that coin is gonna fall off. So keep that right there. Tell your bass drummers, all right, if they're having trouble with this, get a coin. Tell them to put it in between the thumb and the mallet, and that's gonna help teach them to keep the thumb on the stick. What about same thing with the match grip? Obviously it's not the most practical thing to do in terms of like if you're trying to play some stuff, but just for the purpose of learning and reminding yourself to keep that thumb on the stick, use that coin, and that's gonna help remind you to keep that thumb squarely on the stick. Quarter, I'm gonna need 4 now. What's up everybody, it's Carl, aka Carl Drum Tech, and I'm here right now house sitting for my friend, so I thought this would be a great place to kind of use as my studio for my YouTube videos. So today, what I want to talk about is being very specific when you ask your drum instructors, or even me, questions that's going to help you out with your drumming. Now, the more vague you are, like let's say you ask me, hey Carl, or you ask your instructor, how do I get good at drums? Or how do I get better rolls? Or how do I play clean 8th notes? I mean, the answer to those questions are gonna be a very basic and broad answer because it's a very basic and broad question. So what I'm gonna tell you if I was the instructor in those situations is, well, it's gonna take time and it's going to take experience, right? So the time you put in to practice and put in the work to get good, that's gonna help you out a lot if you wanna get good at playing drums. And combine that with actual experience and actual like taking action to practice and put in the time to get better. That is going to also help you out, right? So that includes performances, that includes practices, that includes time drumming with your friends. So time plus experience is really gonna help you out if you wanna get good at drumming. Now, this is still great advice. This is still something that you want to take in if you want to get a broad general sense of how to get good at anything really. Like if you want to get good at cooking, if you want to get good at playing video games even, right? If you want to get good at gardening, I don't know. If you want to get good at any of those things, it's going to take time and it's going to take experience, right? So obviously it's not just experience where you do something and then all of a sudden you're gonna be good. That's not gonna happen without time. If you put in the time, right, then all that action you take is going to lend itself to you getting better. And you can't do anything without any experience, right? You can put in time, like let's say just practicing, but if you don't have performance experience, or if you don't have experience just playing all the time, I mean, you can just sit there and do nothing. That's time being spent as it is, right? You can spend time thinking about drumming. You can think about the theory. You can read books. You can look at the music. But without you actually taking action and playing drums and just learning, right, by doing, time isn't enough either, right? So time plus experience is what's going to help you get good at drums, how to play clean beats when you're playing drums, and all that good stuff in terms of just getting better, all right? So, but what's really gonna help you out is if you ask your instructors very specific questions, right? So let's say instead of asking, hey Carl, how do I get clean rolls? You can ask, hey Carl, how can I get my second note to be as strong as my first note? For that kind of question, I can give you very specific recommendations. Like for example, I could say, hey, play some double beats, or play inverted rolls, or when you play the double beat, accent the second note of the diddle. There's different ways to approach it, but you see how very specific those recommendations are to a very specific question. And that's gonna really hone it down and get you to improve your drumming in a very specific way. Like, here's the thing, right? I think most people think of like getting better as like the big overall picture, right? So like, how do I get good at drums in general? And I am always going to be a huge proponent of looking at the big picture of things, right? But there's an exception, right? If you are not specific enough, then you might get good in the big picture of things, but maybe some things won't be as good. Maybe you won't be good with your timing. Maybe you won't be good with your flam quality. Maybe you won't be good with consistency, right? So the more specific you are in terms of tackling very specific problems, you're going to improve yourself even more so, because now you're improving elements of your drumming game versus just like attacking drumming in general. Does that make sense, right? So the more specific questions you ask your instructors, the more specific answers they can give you to help give you the tools to get better at drumming. And these are also questions you can ask yourself. So the more specific you're thinking about your drumming, then the more you're going to be able to find solutions to get better with the things that you want to get better at, right? So try to think of things in the micro level, not just in the macro level. Like I say, I'm always going to be a big fan of looking at the macro level of things, but at the same time, you still have to look at the micro level and really put that microscope in your drumming game and figure out where the flaws are, what you can do better, and try to attack individual issues to help improve yourself step by step by step. All right, and that's how you're gonna get really good at drumming. It's not just time, it's not just, experience and taking action. It's also thinking of it from a micro level, right? And attacking very specific things to help you improve very specific aspects of your drumming, and then also looking at the macro level. Yes, you want to get good overall with drumming, and that is where the whole time experience comes in. All right, so cool. Hopefully this video has been helpful to you. If you guys like this video, please make sure you do me a huge favor and hit that like button. If you have any questions or comments, if you would like anything to add to what I just said, please go ahead and leave that in the comments below. If you have not subscribed yet, what the heck are you waiting for? Make sure you subscribe, or else my friend here, Saru, his name's Saru, he's gonna be very upset. Very, very upset. And how can you say no to this guy? He's so cute. Really cute. Oh yeah, so I'm dog sitting too, that's why I'm here. Anyways, that's about it. I'll see you guys in the next video, and peace out. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Okay, thanks. That's it.